What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Brandon's Face. It's the podcast about a playlist. I'm Jonathan Beardsley.
And I am Brandon May.
Thank you all for tuning in with us. I don't have any music news this week. I just realized that going into this. I probably should have been a little more prepared for this segment. Do you have anything for music news this week?
I mean, Kendrick Lamar dropping Euphoria. That's the only real
Yeah,
news that I
yeah.
have.
We haven't really covered the rap battle in detail. We don't need to get into it in detail now. But now that we have,
It's been
I guess, the
corny
track
until now, in my opinion. So
we have the track that started it with Like That, which is I think over 200 million streams. It's been number one on the rap charts pretty much since it dropped. So good or bad, that song is going to be remembered, at least commercially. We had the Drake post and delete response of 7 Minute Drill, corny, bad, thumbs down, or the J. Cole response. And then we got the Drake one of push-ups, good, kind of jokey, but fun. Followed up by Tailor Made Freestyle, which was like a one step forward, two steps back type of situation, using the AI and just kind of bowing to Taylor Swift in every way. Kind of just a weird stance for a rap battle song. We finally got the long awaited reply from Kendrick Lamar, Euphoria. It's a 6 minute diss of Drake. I would say it had less knockout punch potential than I was expecting it to, but man, even however many 24 plus hours later, the amount of new things people are learning about some of those lyrics is pretty shocking. How much of that are you seeing online right now?
I am seeing a lot of fucking nerds dissecting this, and I am all the way here for it. It is it's there's a lot to unpack in those lyrics, man. I think it was a knockout, bro. I think that if Drake responded, he would just lose. Anyways, I think he's got to take
It
the L.
it might end up being a knockout in terms of an ender, but I don't think there was any you are hiding a child. The song itself references Pusha T, which is now aging to just be probably the best modern diss track since Ether. Yeah,
I don't
dude,
think anybody can really top that ever, right? Unless somebody like straight up came out
it's
and said
so
some real
theatrical
things.
when you go back to it. The cover art is never gonna having that in your pocket and just dropping that at the same time as the info about the child. All of that was just kind of perfect. And Drake ending up by saying, I can't reply because Jay Prince won't let me, and going on the barber shop and saying LeBron said I could never let him down, was just admitting loss at that point. So I'm at least happy he replied. I for as fiery as he was during his two diss tracks, I'm kind of surprised he hasn't replied back already.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. It was interesting to I it was funny. I clicked on the YouTube link and I was one of the first 5,000 people to hear that diss.
God damn it, man. Don't you love that feeling?
It felt kind of surreal, man, because you're listening to it and those beat switches and the flow changes and just the way we have a Drake stan at work. Shout out to Bree. I made sure to have whoever was on the aux cord that day kind of pepper in Euphoria every 6 or 7 songs, and it was just
Oh
funny.
man.
So I went up to her, I was like, "Your boy got cooked." She was like, "Agreed." So.
Dude. The him going into the Canadian accent part
Hard,
is
bro.
just too good. I just love it when Kendrick starts getting maniacal back to back. I like that record. I think the knockout punch that a lot of people really aren't reading as a knockout punch is if Drake really sent a cease and desist about Like That. That is the bitchiest of bitch moves ever by a rapper, and that kind of ends it where it is. But we'll see if he replies. Anything else on the current rap beef dominating the world?
No, I'm good, man. Like I said, I didn't want to get into too much detail with it at first because it was real corny, and Kendrick takes the corn out of everything, even though he can be corny, he really took the corny out of this beef. It got me real interested real quick. So that's all.
Yeah, I mean, going from you have small feet to I really, really hate you is always a stark contrast, you know. It's fun though. What's your take on fake abs?
My take on fake abs are my take on fake any body parts, bro. That shit's fake. It's not real.
Bro, Drake, you are one of the richest people alive. You can afford a trainer, man. Usher has been doing 800 sit-ups a day since he was 13. Like, get off your lazy ass and work out. Ab implants. Fuck out of here
What
with that
what
shit.
what is he, bro? Is he an influencer or is he a rapper? You know what I mean?
I
Or is he really just Jimmy in the wheelchair, you know? Like
Jesus Christ. We ain't even going back to the Degrassi days. Coachella was last weekend. Any headlines from that out in your area, or did it seem to go
stagecoach.
smoothly? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
yeah, I know that's what you
Country
meant.
Coachella.
Apparently Diplo was fucking awesome. I saw a few clips. It looks like a lot of fun. They turned the Yuma into just a party tent. What is used for the Yuma for Coachella, they turned it into a party tent instead of the famed Disco Shark that typically resides at Sound Nightclub in LA. They changed that into a disco horse, which I thought was amazing. They're
Beyonce did it first.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, man. There's everybody that goes to Stagecoach has a really good time. I don't think I've ever heard anybody saying, "Man, that was whack." Everybody that enjoys that vibe really enjoys that vibe. I mean, I saw some videos, people surfing on tables. There's always the story of the dudes that gets way too drunk at Stagecoach. So
Always.
that's the vibe. That's the vibe at Stagecoach, my boy.
Are as far as I remember, the one thing that was always kind of universally accepted as better than Coachella is you could bring in your own like lawn chairs and shit for Stagecoach. Do you know if that's still a thing?
I don't know if it was a thing this year, but every year prior to this, I know that it has been a thing. VIP, from my understanding,
Normalize
used
that?
to. Right. Like some people are old, man. Especially Willie Nelson. I hope he brought his own chair. Yeah, it's funny, man. Apparently, VIP used to come with free Bud Light. Like you bought VIP for Stagecoach, and you got to drink as much Bud Light as you wanted.
Oh man, I'm sure they won't drink Bud Light anymore though, right? Because of the libs, so they won't even take free Bud Light anymore, right?
I don't know, man.
All right, man. Let's talk about some music. We got a lot on the playlist this
Sure
week. I'm
do.
excited to get into it with you. Let's kick things off with this new one from Porter Robinson, Knock Yourself Out. I love how dude went from like his deepest, most heartfelt album, at least lyrically, to Bitch I'm Taylor Swift, and it still fucking works. I don't care that this isn't EDM. I don't care what it is. I fucking love it, man. This is easily my song of the week. I've played it probably an uncomfortable amount of times. Like I might need help, but I can't wait for the album, man. July 26th. What are your thoughts on it?
Man, you can kind of watch Porter grow up through his releases. And there's something I've admired about Porter is that he's never stuck to the same sound.
Nope.
A lot of people stick to the same sound for like familiarity's purpose. He just does whatever the hell he feels like. And that's the sign of a true artist, man. The song is good. It's very different than anything we've heard from Porter to date. It's a little bleepy bloopy. And that's about
Yeah.
it, man.
Yeah, he kind of posted that the reactions to it were funny because everybody's like, he's changed the sound. He's like, I get this exact review every time I release something, and months later, like I get the same review about the next thing I release. I'm glad he's fucking in on the joke with this one. I really, really like it. I like the character that he's kind of singing from the perspective of. I will say though, tickets for his tour went up the pre-sale yesterday. I logged in. I selected my two nosebleeds, and it came to 150 plus with fees. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. That's too much
Right.
money for me right now. So
Man.
I'm glad his tour is gonna go well. I think he'll make a lot of money off of it. But god
Get
damn it, man, I'm kind of bummed I can't go to it.
get that bag, Porter. Yeah, I reminisce a lot about the World's Tour that I got to see. I'll never forget it, man.
Bucket list for sure.
Dude is a performer.
And not to say EDM shows have ever been cheap. He is playing at the Moda Center where the Portland Trailblazers play, albeit the like shorter version of it called Theater of the Clouds. It's going to be a big production. I'm sure a lot of money went into the show, and it will be worth it. I'm just going to Charlie and Troy like a week before that, and I could not justify spending another 150 on another show, especially Halloween night, man. But
Right.
it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, man.
All right, new one from Salute and Rina Sawayama called Saving Flowers. You a fan of this one?
Rena kind of takes a back seat on this one, but it's a lot of fun and even like kind of heavy at times.
She's just there for the vibes on it. Yeah, I really
Fair.
like it. Salute is not an artist we've talked about a lot. I think we might have covered a track or two. He's got a new album coming. I'm pretty stoked on it after hearing this.
Thick.
All right, new one from Mike Towers and Bad Bunny Adavino. This one's produced by our boy Tiny. It's a fucking banger, man. The brief parts where it snaps into English are pretty on the nose for Bad Bunny, but still fun. Did you like this one?
Man, I think I'm kind of getting sick of Bad Bunny's like cadence.
Fair.
Hey, I think I need a break of like not hearing him for like a month. I know that's impossible. Dude is just ubiquitous. I hear at least a
Yeah.
Bad Bunny song a day.
Yep.
Other than
I
that,
was
this
gonna
is
say I
a
could
fun
stop
track.
adding it. It ain't gonna stop you from hearing
Yeah,
it.
no, I'm not. That's what I'm not. I'm not asking for that. Well, the song's a bop for sure, but it's just it's so far. It doesn't even matter like how far I am away from the speaker. If it's in like an adjacent room at work and I hear, hey, I'm like, okay, there it is. There's my Bad Bunny song for the day.
Hey, some days you need that. Hey, it's
Yeah,
comforting.
right.
Okay. All right, we got a new one from Artems moving into the K-pop realm of things. This is their new track, Candy Crush. I don't think we covered their first two singles. They're clearly leading towards their first EP with this. I liked this. It gave me some like 80s Japanese city pop vibes. Did you like this one at all?
The bass line on this is really great, man. This is
Funky, right?
fun and poppy, man.
Name another fusion album, White Boy, than Cassiope. God damn it, that meme was great. All right, we got a new one from BB and Jackson Wang called "Feelin' Lucky." They debuted this one at Coachella. I was instantly a fan of it. Was kind of hoping it would drop soon, and it did. I think it lived up to the hype, man. It is simple, it's catchy. I think it's already cracked 1 million plays in the short time it's been out, man. It's a banger. I like this one. It's kind of my runner-up for song of the week. What about you?
I really like their voices over guitars like this. Somebody please bring back guitar pop.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I was gonna say Willow maybe, but I guess she's gone away from the pop side of that.
I think it's
All right.
happening very slowly but surely.
Yeah, just hang in there. Hang in there. It'll come back. Everything comes back, man. All right. We got a new one from Normani featuring Gunna. It's the long-awaited 159, the debut single off of her seemingly, I guess, mythological debut album that is eventually going to come out. I will say, man, I kind of like, did the eye roll when I saw Gunna was on it, but it's a fucking good R&B song. It's a really good R&B song. His verse alone doesn't do much for me, but by the time they're going back and forth, I dig it. What about you?
Woo, we have a release date for the album, John.
We do. We
I think
do
it's
have a
June
release
8th or
date.
something like that. Do you think it's gonna happen?
Yes. Yes, there is. It better fucking happen. It's June 14th. Yeah.
Were people still paying for Gunna features, or do you think this was recorded pre Gunna uh, controversy?
I That's a good question, dude. This could have been recorded anytime in the past 5 years and we would have no idea what this fucking album roll out.
Right.
I think this is post controversy. I think this is in the last 2 years for sure.
All right. All right.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's not gonna wow the non R&B fans, but it's a solid R&B track.
I guess
Moving
solid.
in.
I just didn't. I don't know, man. I've been hearing about Normani's album for just so long, and I don't know if it did
Normani
what
is
they
coming.
wanted it to.
Okay.
All right, all right.
Normani's she has wintered.
Understood. Apologies all around.
We got a new one from Saba on and No ID, part of their many tracks in the vault that they just finally decided to release one. What'd you think of this one?
Saba can really rap, man. With the
That
release
guy
of
Saba can rap.
if the release of Few Good Things a couple of years ago, I'm a big fan of his, bro. I'm excited for a No ID collab album, which I think is happening. Especially if it sounds like this.
Good.
The production is crazy good for me. What do you think?
Oh, it's great, dude. This is their third or fourth song that they've released together. If they're not going to release a collab album, then they're going to release a collab album's worth of songs over the years if you're just patient enough. I thought this was really good.
Yeah, man.
All right, got a new one from Haley Knox. What do you need? I think this is her second or third song to come out this year, and all of them have been so good, man. I know they're a little sleepy for you, but I really like the way she builds melodies through not just her voice but her music, and they all of these tracks just keep growing on me every time I hear them. What about you? Did you like this one?
Instrumentals need to grow on me, but with every release, it's happening. Her voice though is fucking crazy, like you said. Like she has a really good voice.
Yeah, her voice is really fucking good. All right, moving into the alt pop, alt rock realm of things, we got one from Chloe the God and Lola Young. This one's called Out of My Mind Part 2. It's fucking great, man. I honestly had trouble telling their voices apart the first time I listened to this song, but once Lola came in, I was like, ah, yeah, that's Lola. And she fucking kills it. She's kind of in that Benny space right now from like a year or two ago where everything she's touching on is just turning to alt pop gold. And this one is no different. Did you like
Yep.
it?
Yeah, man, I really like this song actually. Big fan of it. Reminds me of something Willow would or like already has done, but I love this style.
Same. All right, we got a new one from Gas Station you threw on here called Must Be My Place. You a fan?
I am yes, I'm a fan of this band apparently, man. I just love the way that they make music. I love the album cover. As is tradition, I think that they are criminally underrated. As of right now, 1,044 monthly listeners. Those are rookie numbers, everybody.
Yeah, dude, this is just some good gaze, simple, but it's really
Right.
nice. I liked it.
I like it, man.
Got a new one from the Beverly Kills called Sunset Drive. I'm really loving the 80s alt vibes coming off of this one. What about you?
For me, man, Beverly Kills came out of fucking nowhere. But I put their Kaleido album on all the time. I have it on vinyl. I put it on all the time. I'm super stoked that if they already have a new one on the way. It's been apparently 2 years. They haven't announced a date or anything like that, but I am super stoked for more Beverly Kills music.
Same, dude. All right, we got a new one from Sunny Day Real Estate called Grendel. Thought this one was a bit of a slow burn, but it's really good once it gets there, once those guitars kick in and stuff. Also, the cover art for this one, 10 out of 10. What'd you think of
Phenomenal.
it?
I like this song after I saw Sunny Day Real Estate released a song, so obviously I just blindly added it. I actually think that this is like a live recording of them playing this song because Grendel is a song I forget on what album, but it's one of those, kind of like a
Gotcha.
re-recording.
In the
Um,
room type of things.
yeah,
Gotcha.
it's actually on Diary, so their
That's right.
1994 hit song or hit album rather.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. I liked it.
Yep, same.
Got a new one from the Dangerous Summer called What's an Hour Really Worth? Did you like this one?
I've actually feel like this is a band I should be more familiar with, but I'm not. I actually really liked this song. It reminds me of the Wonder Years a bit. What did you think about it?
I can see the appeal. I'm gonna have to go back to hear the Wonder Years part of it. This song wasn't for me, but I too felt like I should know this band. The
Right?
some of their tracks have a lot of plays on them, and yeah, they got like a 250,000 monthly listeners right now. And I honestly had no idea who they were before this. So I don't know. I wasn't really feeling this track, but it also wasn't anything that like would turn me off of checking out more of their stuff.
Yeah, I'm curious. The Wonder Years comparison doesn't come from a lot of like their music, but it mainly comes from the way the vocals are delivered and the very obvious thought that
Sure.
was put into them, which kind of it just reminded me of them.
For sure. I'll keep that in mind next time I listen. Got one from Calathea called Tears. This one is so good, dude. I really, really like the screams on it. They deserve a lot more monthly listeners than they have right now. What did you think of this one?
Song of the week. Some
Yes.
MySpace core for our week, man. This dude's vocals remind me so much of Shane from Silverstein's vocals
Yep.
on their first album, When Broken is Easily Fixed, which is a huge compliment for me because he doesn't sound like he's filtering his vocals a lot, which a lot of the post-hardcore metalcore dudes tend to do in order to get that perfect kind of fry scream. But he's going for it, right? Raw passion in this
Raw
song.
fry.
Great album art. I'm about it. Let's go.
I am too, man. I really liked it. We got one from Action Adventure Real Juicer Hours. I really like the two different vocal styles on this one going back and forth. Thought it was a really catchy track too. The breakdown was a little bit different at the end, but I liked it. What about you?
Yeah, the last we heard from Action Adventure was in 2022, and I am stoked that we're getting new music from them. Riffy pop punk, dual vocals. What's not to like here, John?
Yeah, couldn't agree more, man. Talk to me about this new one from Paul Bear.
All right. A short little 10-minute Doom ditty for you this week. Lots of Black Sabbath influence on this track. I love it. I think Paul Bearer does a great job of kind of bringing atmosphere into their music. And you just fucking know I love the sax that hits about 5.5 minutes into this song. What did you think about it? I know this might have been a little curveball. I know we cover a lot of Doom, or we don't cover a lot, but we cover some Doom, but most of it is like death and funeral Doom. This is a little different. What'd you
Th-
think?
This was like proggy Doom, right? Like
Yeah,
there was a little death in there, but it
a
was
little
like I
bit.
don't know. Yeah, I liked it. I think I liked the instrumental sections, like particularly that one near the end. Then I liked the vocal parts, but they have a really cool style. Definitely worth checking out. I did like it.
Yeah, good. I'm glad.
All right, we got a new one from Wheel called Disciple. I liked this one, but I only played it a few times because the full album is dropping tomorrow night. Did you like this one?
Same. I play every time I put it on. I was like, nope. I need to hear it for the week, but that's it. So you know, yeah, man.
Playlist
I'm
filler.
so excited.
Same. We got one from Gel called Mirage. I have not heard this group before, to my knowledge at least, but it's given me some immediate pit energy, and I'm all about it, dude. What about you?
You just immediately start throwing bows at the cafe.
People
Uh,
near me, yeah, we're pretty worried.
why is this man doing karate right now? Gel is actually probably one of my favorite new-ish hardcore bands right now. That breakdown on this is fucking great. I think we might have covered one song early last year, but they haven't really released much. I really liked this song. So
Fuck yeah, dude, I did too. We got a new one from Knocked Loose featuring Poppy called Suffocate. I loved this one. It might be my favorite of the singles so far. I'm just a big fan of Poppy's vocals, and I love the way they sound against the Knocked Loose instrumental. What'd you think about this one?
this is going to be a good album, man. Noctilus is getting huge. I cannot be more happy for them. They have a winning formula, and they really aren't messing around with that.
Yeah, that one's next week. I'm really, really excited for it.
Somebody had posted in one of the subreddits that I'm a part of, and they said they went and saw Knocked Loose at Sick New World this last weekend, and apparently Will Ramos from Lorna Shore was in the crowd, rocking out to Knocked Loose. So I thought that was kind of cool. They said everybody kept bothering him, which is shitty, but I thought it was cool to see like a one of the other bands that are rising in popular, like one of the other heavy bands that are kind of breaking through that kind of mainstream ceiling. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Supporting each other. You know?
Dude, for sure. And like or not liking those bands is kind of irrelevant. The fact that groups like, Sleep Token and Bad Omens and groups like that are kind of breaking those barriers that typically do apply to bands like them is fucking cool, man. That's always
Huge,
good.
huge.
All right, we got a new one from Extortionist called Wheel It All Go When It All Goes Dark. Why did I say wheel? When It All Goes Dark.
A
This is an
wheel on the brain,
absolutely
bro.
Yes. This is an absolutely brutal song, dude. I feel really bad for whatever happened to the person in the cover art, but good song. What'd you think of it?
This is a release from Unique Leader Records, which we've covered a number of their releases. Every single time, it's like the heaviest song on the playlist, which is saying something because we've got some heavy songs on this playlist.
Yeah, it's almost there.
Yeah, this is heavy as fuck. I love how like dissonant it is. The album art is so sick. I liked everything about this song.
Yeah, really good. All right, we got one from 200 Saboons called Hands of Eternity. This track fucking rules, dude. I found myself headbanging to it multiple times throughout the week. And like super extreme metal is not always my thing, but this is my type of party, dude. I really like this track. What about you?
You know why you like it so much, John?
Why?
200 Stab Wounds is a death metal band with hardcore influence while staying away from the deathcore side of things. So you get that kind of hardcore break. Do you hear that breakdown at like 3 minutes in? That just kind of peppers into this track. I fucking love this stuff. This is amazing. Just
That could be it.
doomy riffs coupled with like double bass tremolo picking in this song. So good, bro. So good.
Oh no, you're figuring me out. I have to change personalities now. God damn it. All right. We got one from, I'm not going to pronounce give me the name of this artist and song, Brandon. You added this.
Zampantli, I think is how you
Okay. What's the name of the song?
Chichimecatl.
Thank you. Yeah, this is major scaring the hose vibes, but it is really, really good.
Hey man, that's okay. I'm okay with some hoes being scared, you know. This is
Same,
some
same.
indigenous death doom is what their Spotify description calls it. I call it fucking awesome. There is like technicality in the riffs. It is very barbaric. It's awesome. I loved this.
Easily the heaviest track we have on the playlist this week
Yep.
by far.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, shout out Zampala. All right, let's move into the EPs. We got a couple. Homeless Cadaver, first up, their EP Champagne Wishes and Cadaver Dreams. Are you a fan of this one?
I threw this on the playlist, man, because of just how incredibly weird this is. I think that music is takes like it lacks a certain weirdness nowadays. This is fun. It's catchy. It's super odd. It's actually good. It was always a good listen when it came on this week. Some of the lyrics are absolutely ridiculous. Just cadaver.
Yes, I
So good.
mispronounced it, by the way. Champagne Wishes and Cadaver
There it
Dreams. My
is.
bad.
There it is. That's so good, bro. What'd you think?
So I was confused, but I liked it. Based on like the aesthetics alone for this one, I thought it was going to be a lot heavier than it was. I was pleasantly surprised by some like almost, I don't know, metal Fontaines DC adjacent vibes. I don't know what this is, but I liked it. It was good. That's all I
Yeah,
really know.
man. They've got this energy. So there's a couple of bands that I used to listen to like way back, and I still sometimes put on some of their live sets. Alien Sex Fiend and The Mummies. And
Yeah.
both of them are a little different than one another, but they've got this energy, right? And this band has that same energy, and I'm very
Yep.
excited. I clicked follow on this one. Big fan. So we'll see. We'll see what they do.
Oh yeah, dude. All right, talk to me about this Spencer Brown EP.
Man, this is a Bedrock Records release. Thank you, John Digweed, for always finding some very interesting music. There's some really cool moments on this. I think it drags a little towards like the end of each track. Each track doesn't need to be 1,000 minutes each, but that's because they were kind of meant to be mixed. And I think those couple of minutes on each end are just for mixing, kind of beat matching and stuff like that. Santa Cruz is great. Stereo Afterglow is great. I think Barcelona Surprise was all right. But I wanted to, you know how I like to support Bedrock Records.
I think that not only are they best mixed, but they're probably best mixed at like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. after a long night out, not after like just waking up. This is peak sunset vibes music to me. The whole EP I thought was excellent, man. I really liked it.
Yeah, this is peak come down music.
Yes.
This is yeah,
All right, man. Are you ready to talk about the albums? We got a few.
I am.
Okay, let's kick things off with this new one from St. Vincent, All Born Screaming. What are your thoughts on it?
All righty, sir. Well, I am actually really kind of loving the mix of sounds that we get on this record. She starts off with like the ethereal double intro of Hell is Near and Reckless. Both of these kind of made me apprehensive for the rest of the album because they're a little slower, a little atmospheric, and even though both are really great representations of her amazing voice, I wanted something high energy from her, like I've been saying for a while. Uh, and then when the end of Reckless comes about, I realized what she was doing. She was just building atmosphere, man, something that she's pretty good at. Those two transition into Broken Man extremely well, and the whole album kind of begins to take shape. There are a lot of very interesting moments on this, mostly with her use of like synths and electronic bass elements that kind of really drive the point home with a lot of these tracks. Flea brings out some real rock and roll vibes from St. Vincent, and I love when she lets the guitar do the work in the song, you know? But then right back into funky electronic elements with Big Time Nothing. The bass line is great, but it's clearly synthesized, but I think it works extremely well for this sound. Violent Times has like this great bass line coupled with Annie's beautiful vocals, which she shows off quite a bit on this one. The horns, are those horns or synths? I don't know. On this one are pretty neat. The power's out, kind of lets Annie's voice takes the front seat here. You can actually hear it in the mixing as well. Clearly, the instrumentals are mixed behind her voice on this one, which is great. And then we get the weird sweetest fruit, which has this like kind of droning and incessant keyboard melody. So Many Planets has this like oddly tropical sound to it, while still just kind of letting her shred on the guitar. The title track is something that is best listened to in headphones, in my opinion. There's lots of layers, lots of little soft moments that are easy to miss when you're just casually missing. It's an almost 7 minute track though, and I think it honestly could have been cut down a bit. I think it suffers from the runtime. We hear the words "all born screaming" like 1,000 times. That being said, I do think it's a fitting track for the end of the album. I like this one. Good mix of different sounds that she both has and has not explored before. Like everybody who listens to this podcast knows, I really like St. Vincent, and I think she did a great job with this one. I think whoever worked with her on mixing and on the production end of this is definitely doing it on a custom level, and there's no presets here, you know what I mean? It's an 8 for me, man. Standout is either Flea or Hell is Near, which every time I throw on Hell is Near, I kind of like ascend towards the ceiling, you know?
Mhm.
What'd you think about this one?
Yeah, dude, I agree with pretty much everything you said. You're dead on. I think, as we expected from the singles, I liked this a lot more than I liked Daddy's Home. I think that was always going to be true from a genre perspective alone, but it did really impress me with how well made it is. I don't have a lot of like song highlights the way you do for this album, but I really liked the feel of it all. I've been pretty tough on St. Vincent, especially during the Daddy's Home stuff. When I don't like something, I can really not like it. But I'll be honest when somebody just puts out something that's fucking really good. And I think that's what this is. I don't have it quite as high as you. I don't know how long it'll be in my rotation, but I could see myself returning to it when I'm in the mood. I'm going to give it a 7 for now, give it some room to grow. My standout is Big Time Nothing. I think that track was a single, but really didn't hit me until I heard it in the full context of the album.
Yeah, that makes sense because it's kind of like behind the slower tracks, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's right behind Flea. Yeah,
Yep.
but man, yeah, that's my highlight. Good album though. I agree with you. That outro best heard in headphones for sure.
Yeah, that's a headphones track if I've ever heard one.
All right, man. Let's talk about the new Justice album, Hyperdrama. I
Oh
was
my God.
worried this one would not live up to the hype, and I was very stupid because Justice always lives up to the hype. I don't think it's their most exciting album. People saying it's as good as Cross are being a little ridiculous, but it is still a great album and arguably the best album they could possibly make, not just at this stage in their career, but at this level of fame that they've hit. This has by far the most commercial features I've ever seen them include. Miguel, Thundercat, Tame Impala on a few occasions, all of which are great. They showed the best the album has to offer in terms of the singles during the rollout, but this album opens up in new ways when you play it all the way through. Those album cuts like Mannequin Love and Muscle Memory are so fucking good. Again, I'm going to stop just short of saying this is the best thing they've ever done. For me, it's not quite there, but it is still a success on every level possibly imaginable. I have it between an 8 and a 9 right now. I know One Night All Night was my song of the week when it came out, but Generator is my fucking standout for this album. The longer it goes on, the more that is the Justice song that we got from this. What are your thoughts on this one, man? I've been dying to hear them all week.
Well, my vinyl came in today from
Oh,
France, so that's
fuck
good.
yeah.
This will ultimately get a lot of comparisons to Daft Punk's RAM,
Yep.
Random Access Memories, and for good reason, man. It's kind of like at the same point in their releases, right? Lots of different,
Hmm.
more subdued styles being played with, like the transitions between a couple of the tracks. the use of a fairly popular for the time artist to do guest vocals on two of the tracks, one of them being
Hmm.
a single. I'm sure there's more comparisons than similarities we can make, but I digress here. As a gigantic Justice fan, I have been obviously insanely excited for this to drop. I have I've appreciated rather, every era of theirs a lot. Like I said when the singles dropped, Justice has like a really interesting way of blending things that is extremely satisfying. They blended audio video disco into cross to get woman. They blended all three of their albums on this one with on this one in my opinion.
Hmm.
Neverender opens up with Kevin Parker's vocals. It's got this like Nile Rodgers feel, but like
Yeah.
replace Nile Rodgers guitar with like a synth, and I think that's you know what I mean. I
Yeah,
love
that's
it,
justice.
and it heads right into the absolute banger with Generator. I think this track is a banger, but Justice did the thing that I really hate that artists do, man. They released one of their heaviest tracks as a single and got our
Fair.
expectations all out of
Yeah.
whack here.
Yeah.
And After Image kind of slows things down a bit, but has so many layers, man. It was at this point in the album that I realized it's far more of a headphone album than anything else, mainly because of how many layers that are in this song that are in these songs. Obviously, One Night All Night is a banger. It's not a traditional banger, right? We're not going to count the drops, but they layer the bass and the synths
Hmm.
like so well. It's kind of insane, man.
Yeah.
Dear Allan kind of starts off with these like spacey synths and then it goes into arguably the most pristine bass line on this album of the year so far, filled with like groove and energy until those disco synths come in and just continue to put me in a fucking trance. Uh, it's it just works so well. That build up just to like drop with a little bit more fuzz and that bass line that won't quit is so good. Um, Incognito, man, we know this one hits and have known since the time the single dropped, right? The choppiness of it, the way it glitches between bass and funk, the way it messes, the way they kind of mess with all the layers. Mannequin Love, gorgeous song. The vocals mixed with like that incredible bass is just so good. Midnight Rendezvous, it sounds exactly like a track titled Midnight Rendezvous by Justice. You would think it would sound like it sounds exactly like you would think it would sound. Uh, but it bleeds kind of right into Explorer, in which they do something that I've always said they do very well. They use silence. Justice has always respected the silence between the beats, and when they do this, it just works so much better than anybody else who does this. Like you said, Muscle Memory just kind of feels like a little bit like a filler for live show, in my opinion, but it works so well in the entire context of the album.
Yeah.
Um, like if they had dropped that as a single, I might have been disappointed, but because it was in the album, it works, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Then it sounds like You Make My Dreams by Daryl Hall and John Oates is actually kind of what it sounds like. But we won't get into that. There's like a little bass line in there that's like dun, 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 dun. It's one of those. Heartbeat
Great
Dream.
song, by the way.
Oh, incredible song. It's a sick little interlude that blends in with Saturnine that we talked about when it dropped as a single, I think. I still
Hmm.
think the Miguel feature is great. And we finally get to the end with Thundercat. I
Yeah,
think
what'd you
that
think about that one?
I feels like it's a fitting end to this album. It's got
I
every
agree.
element of everything they did throughout the album. It calls back to some sounds they've used on previous releases. Overall, man, I fucking loved this album, dude. Their live show for this debut at Coachella is insanely good. However, I feel like the album does lack in bangers a little bit. Like you said,
Yeah.
Cross is when you compare it to stuff like Cross, you're not going to have as many bangers. But like if you're sitting down with a headphone, you're gonna enjoy this album, you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
uh
Yeah. And
it's not a bad thing, right? I love
more
this album as
accessible.
music. Exactly. Like Random Access Memories, though, this album will grow with me even though I've listened to it like 12 times over this week. I'm going to be listening to it a lot
Same.
more throughout the year. It's one for the books, man. It's a 9 for me, easy. Dear Allan is my standout, if only for that
Oh,
perfect
fuck yeah.
pristine ass bass line.
Deep cut standout. Love that from you. Dude, to touch on what you said about the parallels between Justice and Daft Punk, the first time I heard Mannequin Love, I could not stop thinking about how much it felt like Instant Crush. And I know Kevin Parker was like the comparison you were making to Julian Casablancas, but
Right.
Mannequin Love musically sounds so much like Instant Crush to me. Not in like a derivative way, but you get what I mean. But
Yeah,
there's
for sure.
definitely parallels to draw from there.
I
And
think
yeah,
it
I didn't
feels
say it in
like Instant
mine.
Crush.
Exactly. And I didn't say it in my review, but yes, the writing on the wall for this is this whole album feels very random access memories. Maybe not a direct parallel musically, but Justice's random access memories, at least for where
Right.
they're at now. I'm glad you and I both fucking loved it, man. I look forward to talking about this one in a few more months with you.
Right.
All right, let's talk about this new mix from Shygirl. It's her Fabric Presents mix. I don't have a score for this one since it's just a mix, but I liked it enough that I felt like you needed to hear it too. I think she's a great producer and vocalist, but this was my first time actually hearing her mix, and it made me even more of a fan of hers. This mix includes her new song "Making the Beast," and I think it's one of my favorite tracks in there. But the whole thing is just full of quality music throughout. What did you think of like your first time hearing Shygirl as a DJ?
Well, I was actually expecting more original productions and vocals from Shy Girl, but I'm super happy with what we got him here. Did she do this set like at Fabric? Do you know
Yeah, I
this?
think it was
Okay.
done a little while back. Yeah, I believe it was done at Fabric. Yeah.
That's sick. This is a really well mixed kind of genre conglomeration with really good building, great track selection. Man, I'm actually a really big fan of this. I don't have like too much more to say about it other than like it's a really fun listen. I like you. I don't have a score for this. I don't think we should grade mixes, but this is very good. And I'll probably return to it when I need some long form house music with genre breaks in the future.
Dude, same. I feel like you were probably surprised for it the same reason I was, which is you have so many bangers in your catalog, even though you're a brand new artist, and you still held back from playing some of them.
Yep,
That shows restraint as a DJ. I respect that, you know?
most
This is a
definitely.
great mix. And for people that are new to Fabric Presents, legendary mix series that's been going on for God only knows how long now, what's your favorite Fabric? I think mine's still got to be Rusco and Caspa.
That's it. That's the one.
That's the iconic one, right?
Oh yeah, that's my one.
That's not a deep cut for anybody that hasn't heard Fabric. That's probably the first one you're going to find if you Google it, and that's for good reason. It is an iconic mix. All right, let's talk about this new Allan Rayman album, The All Allan Hour. So, to be real with you, I have been afraid to talk about this one. I'm sure
Oh,
you realized we didn't cover the rollout for this, which is odd since I'm a huge fan of his and we both gave his last album a 10. He announced a while back that his next album would be a concept album. Love me a concept album, so I got excited. But when the first track came out, I did not know what to think. It made me cringe a little bit, maybe purposefully on so. So, to be clear, you have only heard the songs from this new album, not the story part. And that's not because I was trying to keep the cringe parts from you. It's because this was also released as one 40 plus minute track with all the story bits included and the songs interspersed throughout, followed by all the songs without the story parts. I thought it'd be too confusing to cover it both ways. Since I wasn't a huge fan of the story to begin with, I opted just to add the songs. Part of me thinks that's the right move because I ended up liking these songs more than I thought I would. Part of me thinks that's the wrong move because I think he released it the way he did for a reason. So I'm going to encourage anyone listening to this who is following along with our playlist to also go check out the story version of this album if you're into it. I'm going to circle back to it when I can because I feel like now that I have a grasp on the music itself, I'll be able to digest the story a little bit easier. But as of now, I'm still feeling pretty unresolved. If I had to judge this album based on my personal enjoyment of the songs alone, it's probably between like a 6 and a 7. I really liked Double Cigarette. Seconds Please is probably my favorite. But even though I ended up liking the album more than I thought I would, it did not hit like Roadhouse O2 or Christian did. What did you end up thinking about this one?
all right, man. Well, my first question was answered. Did we know that this was coming out? I had no idea. You didn't tell
I
me
knew.
about it.
Yes.
Look, man, this whole album is really moody, and I think he does this style really well. I actually hear like a lot of influences on this one, a lot of Bowie, a lot of like Interpol. But with the classic Alan Rayman style, he just has like a way with instrumentals that are both unique and simple, yet something not yet heard.
Yeah.
Uh, it's like like every other Alan Rayman album I've heard, this has great drums, great percussion, tons of like atmospheric guitar and keyboard elements that make it sound the way that it does. The moodiness is kind of taken to a real extent on this one, and some of these track lyrics can get a little dark here. The problem with artists making dark music is that it's normally very good, but it's also a sign they're struggling, which I'm you said it's a concept album, so hopefully like
Yeah,
he's
I
not
think
actually
he's
struggling. That's
separated
good.
from the story.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Because tortured artists make the best music, right? Um, his atmosphere on this one I think is great. His vocal ability keeps improving. I actually did enjoy this release. It's somewhere between a 6 and a 7 for me. My standouts are Seconds Please or Double Cigarette. If I had to pick one, it'd
You
be
had the
Double
same
Cigarette.
standouts I had. That's so great. Yeah, dude, seconds, please. It's that. Run. That shit is
Yeah,
so fucking
exactly.
good, dude. I love it when he
Exactly.
does stuff like that. Yeah, I feel like as a fan, I didn't give this one a fair enough shot. Also, probably one of the greatest cover arts of his career so far. Uh, to be continued. I'll say that one for now. All
Okay.
right, man. Talk. You threw this one on kind of last minute. This is the new Grumpster self-titled album. Talk to me about it.
All right, man. I had to throw this one on last minute because of just how much fun it is. As much as I love nuance, metaphors, technicality, and lyrical content, there's just something about a good, straightforward album like this, man. Released on Pure Noise, it actually kind of reminds me of Green Day's debut album in a way. They just wrote about bullshit and didn't pretend to shroud anything in layers of irony. It's just the way that it is, man. The beauty on this release is its simplicity. It's endearing. It's honest. It's fun. It's just a blast to listen to for the short 28-minute runtime. I really fucking liked this album, man. It's a 7 or an 8 for me. I think just for fun or Bones are my standout.
Sure.
This is good music, man.
Yeah, I'm glad you threw it on, and I agree, dude. It is a lot of fun. That punchy riff to kick off just for fun is so good. I really
So
like
good.
I don't know, the like pup vibes I'm getting on SSB Part Two.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of what they do kind of reminds me of Pup, like the whole heavy but not too heavy, kind of chanty over fun riffs, some feedback and shit in the background. They're a much different band than Pup, but their music has like a similar feeling to it, I think. And I personally I liked when they got a little bit heavier, like they did on Sun. But this whole album is just solid, start to finish. It's around a 7 for me. Just for Fun is my standout. I really liked that one.
Such a good track.
All right, man. We got this one from Better Anyway. This is their debut album, To Love Again. How do you like it?
As a contrast to the Grumpster album before it, I love
They
the
kind
way
of went
this
hand
one
in hand.
takes its time. This album kind of pulls its punches in order for it to pay off later in the song or later in the album. At least on most of these here. I love it when you can hear clear influences from some of my favorite bands here. This has given me major Newfound Glory vibes. If this was released in '06, this band would 100% be playing Warped Tour, and they would have killed it. They save the screamy for the moments where it really matters on this one. I think I'll be returning to this one quite a bit, man. It's out on a record label I've actually never heard of, Blind Rage Records. I'll be looking into them.
I hadn't heard of it either. Yeah.
Bunch of fun here, man. Bunch of fun. Pop punk, pop post hardcore. 7 for me. Detriment or To Love Again.
Yeah, dude. This is a really solid debut. It's got all the like Midwest emo vibes I was hoping for, albeit with like a more pop punk, pop post hardcore, like you said, edge to it. The opening track, perfect job of setting the tone. Should be a really fun one for them to play live. I'm getting some like Cartel meets Rookie of the Year feels when I listen to this album. I'm
Yes.
sure there's tons of other bands I could name, but I just use the comparisons to me, and their music feels nostalgic to me in a good way. I also have this one around a 7. My standout is the intro, If I Could Learn, man. I really like this one. It was great.
Really, really good, man.
Have I ever told you my Rookie of the Year story?
No, you have not.
So for those who might know, they are like pretty obscure, very like soft, like acoustic, mostly acoustic, like emo pop rock band. I took a buddy of mine to a show of theirs who's a metalhead, and they played one of their like more upbeat poppy songs, and the singer in a dead silent room was like, "All right, we're gonna slow it down." And my metalhead friend was like, "Oh, thank God, I didn't know how much more of that I could take." And It broke the room. It was fucking incredible. So I'm sorry to the singer of Keith the Year for that.
Oh my God.
Oh man. All right, let's cap this week off with the new one from Party Cannon. Injuries are inevitable. Uh Give me your thoughts on it, man. We've been building to it for a while.
What an absolute fucking party, man. You know, I will never be able to say no to a Cannibal Corpse show because of the fact that they just have so much fun on stage and the fact that everybody in the crowd kind of recognizes that it's a party and not like an actual gore fest. I got major live Cannibal Corpse vibes from this album because you can just tell they're having a lot of fun up there or in the studio. But on recording, I hear so much Dying Fetus influence. It is insane, man. From the riffs to the vocals to the bass lines, I think Party Cannon is channeling their inner John Gallagher in the very best way. It's probably the most fun I've had listening to a death metal record this year. I have fun listening to death metal all the time. This one is just like this a step above, man. It's so good, dude. They have this gimmick of having the most accessible or the the logo that stands out on a death metal flyer, right? And a lot of the times gimmicks either will hold the music back or the music will never like live up to the gimmick. But dear God, man, this band doesn't do either of those things. They're doing everything right, at least for me. This is an easy 8 for me, man. Standout is Lane Staley went down the slip and slide.
Christ. I don't even know where to begin with this one, man. I like Party Cannon. I really do. But a whole album of their stuff is like too much for me most of the time. So after the first listen, I just started going to individual songs on this when I was in the mood to tackle more of it. And that worked out much better for me than 40 straight minutes of slam metal every day. Every song on this album has its own little quirk. So being able to focus on them a little bit at a time was actually really fun. There's not a lot to learn from a track like 1983, but it's fun to listen to. Weird but not illegal, still easily my favorite of the bunch, but the album closer, Human Slime, is coming in a close second. Again, I know I keep saying the same score. This one is also around like a 6 or a 7 to me. My standout is weird but not illegal, but every song on here is pretty fucking fun, man.
Yeah, I this is just so much fun, man. It's so good.
It is. We almost, God damn it, we're gonna need like 2 metal episodes for the end of the year now, like metal and extreme metal.
There's a lot of
Uh,
good metal releasing this
a
year,
lot of good
bro.
metal this year. All right, man. That does it for us this week. We'll be back again next time with a huge episode. We've got new albums dropping this week from Dua Lipa, Willow, Wave Dash, Rachel Shinriri, Agriculture, M. Down Mokhtar, Wheel, and more. Follow along with the playlist this podcast is based on so you can listen along with us. It's updated weekly. You can find the link to that in the show notes. You can also find us on Instagram and Reddit. Just search Brandon's Face Pod. Give us a follow, say hi. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.